What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Your New York Knicks win 110-93 against the Portland Trail Blazers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. 3 more wins until we hit 50 wins. I'm here joined by Chris, hopping on the post-game show. We normally do a podcast every single Sunday, but since the Knicks played today, Chris joins me on the post-game show. Chris, 3 more wins until 50.
3 more wins until 50. I had a feeling the Knicks would get there. I still think they are going to get there. But Knicks get a nice win over the Blazers. As you see there, the final was 110-93. And hey, early on, it didn't look like it was going to play out that way. But hey, we got the win. And how do you feel about this game tonight?
Feel good. First half was kind of, not the brand of basketball we would like to play. But, we'll talk about that. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. What's going on, people? I see all of you. Thank you for the support as always. Smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Loud and clear. Crimes Dad. What's going on? El Figgy. Nostalgic. Tony. See all of you guys in the chat. Am I missing somebody? Dis Rover. What's going on, Dis Rover? Appreciate you in the chat. What's going on? Did I miss anyone? Woody. What's going on? Appreciate you guys. Look, Knicks win 110-93 over the Portland Trail Blazers. Wingstop, baby. Wingstop, man. Feel like going to Wingstop right now. Wingstop has been playing extremely well for this team, especially OG Anunoby, who's just continues to dominate, Chris, defensively and offensively for OG Anunoby in this basketball game was, another great game from OG. Almost hit 30. I really wanted him to get to 30 points for OG. But Mikal Bridges, great game. Anunoby, great game. Both of them just had an amazing game. And look, first half, we'll talk about it, but I thought Precious gave him solid minutes in that second quarter. Landry Shamet starting to come around, Chris. But look, Chris, the sky's the limit for this team when OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are playing like this. Sky's the limit.
Yeah. Look, this is what we were envisioning when we first got the Mikal Bridges trade. When that news came down, and obviously OG Anunoby was a part of the mix as well. This is what we were envisioning, right? Mikal Bridges being aggressive, scoring, playing good defense, and then OG Anunoby being a monster defensively, but also bringing it offensively as of late. You love to see it, right? You love to see it.
Yeah.
OG Anunoby has been on a tear, and you can't ignore Mikal Bridges during this stretch, man. I think he's stepped up big time with the absence of Jalen Brunson.
Look, Mike Breen said it best in the broadcast. We are seeing an emergence of a very confident offensive player from OG Anunoby lately. And it has got, I'm going to say I'm watching the game, Chris, and I'm getting, goosebumps just watching him perform. I know it sounds corny, but I really am. Seeing him perform at such a high level currently gets me extremely excited for what's to come in the playoffs. It does. And, look, I know Brunson, injury update. He's doing basketball activities, by the way. Jalen Brunson is on the brink of return. I actually have a prediction about what game I think Jalen Brunson is going to return. So shout out to Jalen Brunson. Getting back our captain.
Huge news right there.
Getting back our captain really soon, and that gets me excited too. But yeah, Chris, just watching Anunoby, his offensive skills have just hit another gear, and he's getting to the free throw line. He's going downhill. He's being that bull. He's using his 240-pound. I'm literally saying it after every game. And his career season, he is. Everyone has realized it now, Chris. Remember what we said last week? Yeah. Giving OG Anunoby his props, giving him his shine. Now he has just stepped up his game in a way where I'm just starting to get extremely excited for this basketball club in the playoffs. And look, first half, especially in that second quarter, Chris, Blazers went on a 15-0 run, and it was just a bad quarter for the New York Knicks, and I had a bunch of people on my timeline just writing the Knicks off. This is why the Knicks can't make it out the first round, yada, 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 because the Blazers, look, they're young, hungry. Advia was giving them the business tonight. He's a good player. 33 points, 7 rebounds. The Knicks couldn't defend the three in the first half, but in the second half, the Knicks hunkered down. Blazers, 30 points in the third quarter, 15 points in the fourth. That is defense. Defense. They made their adjustments, Chris, and they won. But, yeah, OG Anunoby, great. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say?
I mean, look, obviously OG Anunoby, like we've been waxing poetically, has been amazing. Same with Mikal Bridges, you know. Look, Mikal Bridges has caught a lot of slings and arrows throughout this season, but there is no doubt that he is having, he's having a resurgence, right? It seems like he's figuring it out without Jalen Brunson too, which is another point, right? One of the things I was hoping that would happen, maybe a silver lining when Jalen Brunson went down was, can this team figure out how to play one without Jalen Brunson and get a little bit creative and get guys going?
Yeah.
So I'm excited now just thinking about this offense now when Jalen Brunson comes back. Now you got Mikal Bridges going, OG Anunoby's going, and then you throwing Jalen Brunson into that mix. And this is a game they win when Cat didn't have his best game, offensively. So Cat didn't give you his best game offensively, and you were still able to win, which early in the season, young teams like the Blazers are exactly it was like the recipe, the kryptonite for the Knicks, it seemed. Once we played a young team, we usually lost those games for some reason. So I think it shows some growth that we were able to get this win, especially the way it was looking during the first half.
Yeah. 3 more until 50, man. Look, top 6 locked up. Now it's just a matter of who we play in the first round. We'll get to that talk a little bit later. But, yeah, Cat didn't have his best game, Chris. And I'm happy you brought that up. He actually rested a large part in that fourth quarter, got back in the game and kind of settled things down. But Cat didn't have his best game. And Josh Hart was being left open for a majority of the game. Once again, another opponent sticking their center on Josh Hart and just clogging everything. I mean, the paint is being clogged, and DeLon Wright really wasn't aggressive in this game, but timely shots for DeLon Wright. I mean, I just love that, he's competing. And we saw some of his defensive skills out there tonight with deflections and whatnot. So past 2 games, DeLon Wright, he's playing. I mean, before I didn't even think he was on the team, and he's like 2 assists, 2 steals. Kolek, even though Kolek had 0 points, 3 assists, I think, the Knicks were making their run with Kolek on the floor, and Tyler Kolek tonight was, I thought, competing on the defensive end. Even though he's undersized, I thought Tyler Kolek had a few possessions in a row where he was just competing out there. And, that's all you ask for from Kolek. Look, he's undersized. They're going to take advantage of him. They're going to hunt him. But Kolek was just competing out there, and as time goes on, he'll grow. He'll get his aggressiveness down pat and whatnot. But Kolek out there defensively was competing at a high level, I thought. And Landry Shamet, Chris, these past couple of games have been promising because, quite frankly, in a playoff series, Chris, you need the bench. Shamet, if he comes in and gives you 3 threes like this, playing well, and he hasn't really had a great season. I know he's coming back from that big injury, but Precious, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Precious. There you go, Precious.
Yeah. Precious has been maddening as of late, but he's it looks like he's coming out of that funk a little bit. Does he make some questionable decisions at times? Yes, but I'll give Precious some props. He had a really good game in my opinion. And I'm excited about the bench because, look, again, obviously campaign goes down. Miles McBride isn't available. And we're finally seeing Tyler Kolek and DeLon Wright, which a couple, shows ago, we're literally saying, why did you sign this guy? Why did you sign DeLon Wright?
Yeah.
We know he could play.
Trade for him. Yeah.
Yeah, why did we trade for DeLon Wright? We know he could play, right? Why can't he get a few minutes? So I think it's awesome that they're out there now, and it kind of shows Tibbs, right? Hey, these guys can play. These guys can give you a few minutes. You don't got to run 8-7 guys, Yeah. So I think that's a plus for us. I mean, obviously, come playoff time, will they see minutes? Hopefully not, because you get everybody back nice and healthy. But the option is there, right? Maybe you bring DeLon Bright off the bench and he can play some defense for you or something like that. But on the Tyler Kolek, obviously the stat sheets doesn't show anything too crazy, but
he's competing
at
out
least
there.
exactly. At least he's giving you that effort, right? Like it's one thing when you see someone like, and I hate to pick on him, but it's one thing when you see Evan Fournier on defense, right? Who's just like, let me just wave my arm and let them through.
I
And then
didn't know
there's
you were going to
Tyler
bring up
Kolek.
Evan Fournier on tonight's post game. By the way, that's hilarious.
There you go. Bring that fire, right?
Oh,
And
man.
then you got Tyler Kolek, right? He's jumping out at guys and he's giving you that effort. He's giving you the energy. Like you can't knock him for that, no matter how bad he is defensively. I think we're going with the glazing again. I see.
Appreciate you guys in here. Appreciate the chat as always. Glazing. One player who we will be glazing is OG Anunoby. Because Chris, Isaiah, what's going on, Isaiah? Asked it in the chat. He said, what's up, Aunt Chris? I think OG is coming for that title of being the third best option of the NBA. Lately, the talk of the league has been who's the best third option in the league. Well, Isaiah, I agree. OG Anunoby is playing like a superstar. He's playing like an all-NBA talent. He's going to make an all-defensive team. He has like 4 deflections a game. He is literally just playing at a level where, frankly, some Knicks fans thought he can get to. And I think this is the peak of Anunoby, Chris, that I said it last post-game. If OG Anunoby plays like this in the playoffs, with JB doing his thing, Cat, I know he didn't have a good game, but Mikal and OG Anunoby, if they play like this, Chris, why not?
Yeah.
But the problem is we haven't seen it consistently, right? And I know a lot of Knicks fans are saying the only reason why he's playing like this is because of no Jalen Brunson. So now that leads for the basketball to be in his hands more. And Mikal Bridges, let's just say what it is. I mean, Mikal seems like he plays better without Cat and sometimes without Brunson on the floor. Yeah. Sometimes. Most of the time. So
I could see that. I could see that actually.
Yeah, so we have to get back to the offense that we saw early in the season where everyone was clicking and Brunson's assists were like way up. And I think we can get back to that point. But Wingstop, this was the upside. This is why we traded for Mikal. This is why we gave OG Anunoby all that money. Is nice like tonight. And honestly, the stretch from OG Anunoby, Chris, has just, got me truly excited. And look, I know we'll go through the scores. I think, how about that Pistons brawl? I don't know if you catch that, Chris.
But I didn't catch that, but I saw like 7 people who got ejected or something like that. I don't know.
Dante was mixed up in that brawl too. I got a picture. But yeah, Chris, I mean, if OG plays like this, Chris, I mean, you need him to play like this against Boston. You need them to play like this against Boston in order to have a shot in the second round. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Look, OG's been rolling, and I wanted him to get that 30 points too because they would have been a string of them. But yeah, look, OG Anunoby, man, he goes out there and he does some things and does it look pretty all the time. He's not a finesse player or anything like that. But there's sometimes I go, man, I didn't know he could do that.
Yeah.
But OG Anunoby has been bringing it. Mikal Bridges has been bringing it. I mean, I can't say enough about those two, especially once Jalen Brunson went down. We all had questions, right? Will they step up? Will they step up? And they have. They definitely have. And this only bodes even better for us going down into this playoff stretch. I'm excited, man.
I am. 47, this didn't update, 47-27. The New York Knicks are 20 games over 500. I did terrible math there for a second. 20 games over 500, 25-12 at MSG. Happy belated birthday to Walt Clyde Frazier, by the way. 80th birthday. MSG was celebrating all night long. You saw Alan Hahn with the funky suit. It was pretty cool. I saw some Knicks fans actually wear, some crazy suits going to the game. That was pretty cool. So happy birthday to Walt Clyde Frazier. They were honoring him all night long. And Yeah, look, second half is where this Knicks team hunkered down, Chris, and just did what they're supposed to do. But what I love is that, Precious step in the right direction. Shamit's been playing well. And ultimately, look, Chris, season is winding down, man. I mean, basketball is all about a mindset. That's what I was thinking early on in this game. Like, the Knicks already clinched. You got your captain coming back. And now you're sitting here and you have 8 more games left this season. And I personally, think Jalen Brunson is 4 games away from being all NBA eligible and for winning Clutch Play of the Year. I personally think this is the day where Jalen Brunson is going to come back. Sunday, April 6th versus the Phoenix Suns. Because the Knicks aren't a back-to-back that day. They play Atlanta and then play Sunday against the Phoenix Suns. So if Brunson comes back Sunday, he plays versus Boston. He plays versus Detroit or he plays versus Cleveland. He doesn't play both of those back-to-backs. Plays one of them. And then he plays versus Brooklyn. He gets his 4 games. And he said today that he wants to come back and get into game shape and get into a rhythm. So I personally think Sunday, April 6th is when Jalen Brunson comes back. I don't have any inside information, but I think that's the day he comes back. So
it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Could it happen sooner? Who knows? But yeah, I mean, look, if he wants to get that consideration, I think that's a solid plan, right? Some of these matchups, man, I just hope they're careful with Brunson, man, because we need him in the playoffs.
We do. All right, hit some of these comments. Appreciate every single one of you in here. Thank you for the support as always. Sunday evening, talk about this Knicks win versus the Blazers. They got it done. 8 more of these things, and then it's go time. It's playoffs. That's it. It's looking like Knicks Bucks first round. Hey now.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Crime Dad says, why not us? Wild Boy Trey says, OG's looking like Kawhi. Mikal Bridges is a star. OG and Bridges is the best wing duo in the league. Argue with a walk. What's going on, Wild Boy Trey? That's the upside of these two. Nice like tonight, and quite frankly, it's been a few of these games where lately, especially, Mikal's starting to, get into a rhythm. He plays well with Kolek on the floor. He plays well with Shamit on the floor. More of an up-paced offense, and in the playoffs, you're going to have to navigate these lineups because, Hart keeps being left open. They're daring him to shoot. Cat tonight was like okay, like he was all right. I don't think he had a good game, but it's like you try to navigate these games like each as they come around, but it's like you're ready to clinch a playoff berth. And now it's all about seeding, and now it's all about building good habits and just getting to the playoffs healthy. So, but you can't overlook the play from OG. I mean, you can't. So, and Mikal lately.
Yeah. I mean, the growth that OG Anunoby has had this season, especially offensively, it's huge. Because you always knew he was going to bring it defensively. It was always Kenny. Obviously, we know he's efficient with the shots that he took, but he never had the volume that he's getting now, right?
Yeah.
And he's still being efficient with it. So it's nice to see OG Anunoby just clicking and look, nobody thought he'd reach the offensive type of level that, let's say, a RJ Barrett could, right? That was always the knock. Yeah, you're getting more defense, but you're going to miss that offense, right? And he's coming around. And you say he's peaked. I think this is just the beginning of OG Anunoby.
I didn't say he's peaked. I said this is part of the peak.
His offensive is okay. Well, I think there's definitely way more room. Obviously, it's going to get more and more polished. I think OG Anunoby, he can reach a whole nother level, in my opinion. But look, let me stop glazing, right?
Picture of the night was when OG dunked and was just staring at his defender right here. Love it, man. I love when OG has that dry humor. Loud and Clear says, Bucks are baby food. We sweep them. Benny says the Knicks ball movement has been great without Brunson, but shot sometimes we pass it too much. What's going on, Benny? El Figgy says once JB is back, he'll draw the double teams, and he needs to give the ball to OG and Mikal more.
Agreed.
Yeah. El Figgy says Knicks will gentlemen sweep Milwaukee. I think so too. I think so too. Uh, OG was a thought. OG was thought of a 3 and D, but he is way more. That's the thing. When OG and Anunoby,
Yep.
when you traded for him, we had that big blow up, stretch last year. Playoffs were great, and it was just all about one thing, Chris, with OG and Anunoby: health.
Yep.
Right, and
Yep.
he looks healthy. The elbow looks great. The elbow, it feels great because he was still dealing with that elbow issue early on in the season.
We're not even thinking about the elbow anymore.
Please, like, knock on wood. Like, all you want to do is just get to the postseason healthy right now. That's the only goal. But these guys are playing at such a great rate. I mentioned it last post game, Chris. Like, at what game do you really start to scale back their minutes? Because it's truly hard to scale back their minutes and get them out of a rhythm, because you really don't want to do that. But at the same time, you want to get these guys like as healthy as can be, and you want to kind of protect them, put them in bubble wrap, because it's looking like you're the 3 seed, and you can't go back, you can't go up. So, but yeah, I mean, you guys see it in the chat. Like, OG got called for hanging on the rim. He got called for delay a game, actually, with that image.
Damn.
Yeah. Staring in the soul of his defender.
OG, man. He's been, and look, OG has been, his mindset has been different too, man. I saw in the past game, he was chirping at the refs, where he thought he got fouled. You usually don't see stuff like that from OG, but it just shows you, man. He's taking it to another level.
28 points, 7 rebounds, 3 steals for Mr. OG Anunoby.
Damn.
He's a dog, man.
Looks like money well spent, huh?
Chris, is he an overpay? We saw that a lot.
Apparently so, right? Overpay. Now you can't look what he brings for you defensively, and now what he's doing offensively. Come on,
Chris.
I think
he's legit.
Worth every penny. Worth every penny. And the knock, again, like you mentioned, was his health. And we said it before the season started, right? Hey, if we can get 60 games, 70 games from OG. I mean, look, he's having one of his healthiest seasons. And he's playing a ton, which is crazy.
He's literally playing like a superstar. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. Like, I'm not. He's having the best stretch of his career. And we're noticing. I think he's at 60. I'm trying to get to his. I think he's at 66, if I'm not mistaken. 67 games played.
Look at that.
For OG Anunoby. Is that?
That's amazing. That's awesome.
67 games played. The last time he played 67 games was in 2022. So 1 game from breaking that. And if he hit 70 games this year, the last time he did that was his rookie season in 2017.
Yeah. He's
healthy. He looks great. And quite frankly, you need him to play like this in the playoffs. I mean, first round, Bucks. They don't have anyone to guard OG. They don't have anyone to guard Brunson. They don't have anyone to guard Mikal, which is why we're calling for Knicks Bucks. I posted a short, like, I want the Milwaukee Bucks, Chris, because it's just a great matchup for this basketball club. And I truly do think the Knicks can beat them in 4 or 5. I know they have Giannis, the Dame situation's up in the air, Chris, but what do you think?
I think, yeah, I mean, look, obviously I think that's a great matchup for us. I think, did we sweep the season series against them? I believe we did.
I believe so.
But look, yeah, and it's unfortunate about the Dame situation. We don't know what his status is going to be, but I do believe even with Dame, the Knicks have the right recipe to beat that team. So it would be a nice matchup with the Bucks in round 1 for sure. And yeah, I wouldn't mind that matchup at all. But also want to give props to, I know we're talking about OG Anunoby, but Mikal Bridges as well. I mean, Tony says it in the chat. Yeah. He says, where's them people at, with the 5+ picks for Mikal? Where are them people at now? I mean, look, that's always going to be there. But Mikal Bridges is definitely showing as of late, there's something there. Mikal Bridges, it wasn't a fluke. Maybe it just took a little bit of extra time for him to get going.
He's a very fascinating player because he plays better with certain lineups on the court. And I feel like that's an area where the Knicks coaching staff has to navigate really. Like they have to try to find pockets to get Mikal going. But last game, Milwaukee 26 points. Tonight, 28 points. Prior to that, Clippers 17 points. Dallas 21. Wizards 27 points. So in his last 5 games, he's had 20 points or more in 4 of them. And 25 or more points in 3 of them. So he's shooting the 3 better, and that's really important to Mikal Bridges' game. He's getting to the free throw line. And one underrated part, Chris, is that he's becoming a distributor. 7 assists versus the Blazers tonight, 5 assists versus Milwaukee, 9 assists versus the Clippers. So he's being used a lot. He's shooting and making, and he's becoming a facilitator. They're using him on the high pick and rolls more, and he's getting it done. I mean, 9 assists, 5 assists, 7 assists in his last 3 games. So, look, man.
I love
it. Right?
Look,
right?
I kept saying, I hope this team now with Jalen Brunson going down, I hope they get a little bit more creative. And you're seeing that OG Anunoby handling the ball more. Mikal Bridges initiating the offense at times. Obviously, we have Tyler Kolek out there literally showing you that he can run the offense. You know, one thing I want to mention about Tyler Kolek the past few games, you see him directing these guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what rookie you see go out there and do that? You know, looking like a floor general already. So, you know, props to Tyler Kolek for that. But look, I mean, I know the record with Jalen Brunson obviously hasn't been like perfect, but these guys are showing a lot of growth, man, with Jalen Brunson going down. You know, a lot of people who were writing the team off as soon as it happened. You know, look, the Knicks are hanging in there, and I think they're doing a pretty damn good job, and things are pointing up for us, especially with Jalen Brunson inching back.
Things are pointing up for us, man. Mikal's playing well, and I'm not even worried about the Cat bad game tonight. He's going to have games like that, and he's been, quite frankly, he's been really good for this team. And I thought he had a good stretch tonight, though, where he was getting others involved. And he's going to do more of that. Again, he doesn't really have a star foul, like a star whistle. Like, he gets hacked a lot, and he falls in love with the complaining. And at this point, it's like, I know, I get it. Like, you want to get foul calls, but just move on at this point. And you know, Josh Hart brought up a comment like, we got to stop arguing with the refs.
Yeah.
And he was probably talking about himself and Cat with that, but the refs were terrible tonight. Somebody said it in the chat. Yeah, the refs were awful. The Knicks had to use 2 challenges. They won both of them, and that's another like crappy rule in the NBA. You get 2 challenges. If you win one, okay, you get another one. If you win the second one, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it was worse. Remember, it was you used it once and that's it.
At least
at least now they give you the second. But honestly, I feel like, hey, if you guys made a mistake and then you say it's good, you should have it again. Yeah. You know, maybe make a rule where you can't use it the last 2 minutes of a game or something. I don't know. But I mean, I think that's when you would want to use it, in my opinion. So
it should be like football. It's a weird like last 2 minutes, it should go to automatically like review. Or like something last like 5 that, right? minutes or something like that, automatic review or something like that. I know they want to like limit these.
Don't they do that to an extent? Like if it's a 50-50 ball where they can't really tell, they'll go check that out.
Yeah, they will. And they'll review like if a player stepped out of bounds at a timeout break. And they'll like, we've gotten the crappy end of the stick regarding that where, you know, one of our guys have stepped out of bounds and then they review it at the timeout and they take away a 3. And it's like, that's so brutal. They do that, but in terms of like pivotal moments, like I would like, I don't know. Last year I thought 1 challenge, like I get 2 challenges, but I feel like if you keep winning, I feel like if you're 2 for 2 with your challenges, you should just keep getting them until you lose them. Because these refs, I mean, come on now. I mean, tonight was terrible, but
they got to be better.
Yeah, they do.
Now I'm gonna get fined.
Knicks win 110-93. Appreciate every single one of you guys in here. Smash the like button. Let's get them likes up once again. Here joined by Chris, hopping on the post-game show. talking about the Knicks only seasons winding down. Playoffs are in less than a month. Isaiah says, so who's the true X factor for this team, man? I feel like the answer keeps changing on a constant basis. Who do you think it is at this point, Chris and Ant? Chris, who's the X factor? I guess he's talking about X factor meaning playoffs and meaning
Yeah.
go far.
I'll be honest. I think the X factor is Josh Hart. I think the X factor is Josh Hart. This team goes with the way he goes, right? His energy that he brings. You've seen some games out there where the energy isn't there and the team kind of looks just as sluggish, right? And then kind of when he turns it on, as he goes, the team goes, right?
Yep.
Obviously, with Jalen Brunson now, when Jalen Brunson comes back, he can mitigate some of that. But I think the way that teams are defending Josh Hart still, putting their bigs on him, staggering off him extremely off the three, I think he's the X factor, man. If when he's out on that court, he's gonna have to take those shots, make or miss them, right? He's gotta have to take those shots confidently, and his energy level has to go up. So I think that's gonna be the X factor in the playoffs, man, because we all seen Josh Hart single-handedly. We know what he can do. He can wreck a game defensively, and he can spark us offensively as well, especially clutch baskets down the stretch.
We've seen Josh Hart put up some clutch baskets in the playoffs before last 2 years. Philly, then the game versus Cleveland, game one. And I like that answer because Hart is he's been the target. Like,
Yeah.
they've been throwing centers at Josh Hart. And again, sometimes he's hesitant. Again, he wants to. I think the right play is what he tries to do because he shoots so low in terms of his 3-point percentage that, the way OG's playing, I'm gonna give the ball to him. The way Mikal's playing, I'm gonna let him shoot the ball. I get it, but at times he just has to find that balance about when to shoot. If he's open, he got to shoot it, man. I mean, I know
Exactly.
in the playoffs, obviously it's different round by round, but guys, I'm truly going to say, I know there's so many different X factors, but I'm going to say in the first round, I would say, look, if OG's playing like this, Chris, I mean, if he's playing like this against Tatum and Brown, if he's going downhill, wearing them out, using his physicality against them, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but if Anunoby's going to play like this, I mean, this is why a lot of Knicks fans thought we can get to the Eastern Conference Finals because the upside of Anunoby and the upside of Bridges. So there's so many different like X factors. Like I know if Anunoby's playing like this, but if Mikal's having a poor series, it's going to not cancel each other out. But it's just, I think if this Knicks team wants to go far, their wings got to show up because we saw this year they haven't shown up versus the big dogs. Like really anyone hasn't shown up but JB versus the big dogs.
Yeah.
And I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think in the first round, like we can go through that conversation, but I think your bench really just has to blossom, and Landry Shamet could be that guy. But it's depending on the matchup, honestly. And the upside of this team is just predicated on everyone knowing their job and performing well, and the coaching staff getting these players in right situations. And that was the frustrating part of this year because it's been such a roller coaster that it's just a whole plethora of things. But hey, I mean, you look at our season and we're 3 games away from 50 wins, and captain's coming back, and I'm getting excited. I'm starting to feel like how I was before the season or early on in the season. I don't know how to feel, honestly.
It's a weird, like, in between feeling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, all in all, the Knicks have had a really good season. I mean, you wouldn't know it by, looking at, game forums, and you wouldn't know it by checking out, X and all that stuff
Or
because,
sometimes me or
fans
us.
demand a lot. Or even us, right? After a tough loss or something like that, obviously we're in our feelings, right? We're fans too.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, the Knicks overall, they've had a great season. Like you said, 3 games away from 50 wins. Look, we can't take that for granted, man. We've seen some terrible Knicks seasons here. So, you got to celebrate those things. But obviously, we're hungry for more.
Yeah.
And I'm getting excited too because, look, the way Mikal OG is playing, Towns, we've seen him play well. Obviously, the bench unit is starting to produce a bit here for us, which is a big question mark for us, a couple weeks back. The defense has been way better ever since Mitchell Robinson has been in the mix, and Mitchell Robinson's another one you have to give props to because the defense has, is it a coincidence that Mitchell Robinson comes back and then we're all of a sudden, the past few weeks we've been a top 10 defense? I don't think that's, he might not be putting up crazy stats, but his presence out there is obviously changing things. So look, I mean, it's all around, and like you said, playoffs are right around the corner, man. It's you can't help but start to get excited, man, especially the way that we're playing.
Anunoby is averaging 29 points per game on 60, 48, 96 splits over his last 5 games.
Yeah.
Anunoby at the post game when the season is done and the playoffs start, it's time to play the best. And OG Anunoby is asked about gearing his game towards success at the end of the season heading into the playoffs. Yeah, man. If he's look, the thing with this team that is just so real is that if he's playing like this with Mikal, and I know Crimes that said Cat is the most inconsistent, needs to step up on D and be more consistent on offense. Cat has had a great year, but I think now he's at a point where I don't know where his mind is at, because look, you're clinched. Like, do you really want to go 110% out there when you're clinched and you just want to get to the playoffs healthy? I'm just speaking specifically on Cat. Like, I don't know if that's where his mind is, but we've seen that he performs in the playoffs. Obviously, he's had some down series and whatnot, and obviously we have to see how he acts in a Knicks uniform because that jersey is extremely heavy. But El Figgy says Thibs also has to adjust. We had an 18-point turnaround in the first half because Thibs doesn't believe in staying with the hot hand. El Figgy says don't want Thibs gone, but he needs to adjust now.
No, I get that, and that does drive me a little. I mean, I always question that, right? Yeah. And you always hear somebody like Clyde say it on the broadcast. The guys don't get tired when they're on a streak, when they're making basket after basket. Guys don't get tired. Why are you taking them out? You hear Clyde say things like that all the time, and I think the same thing. Hey, if you made 5 of your last 5 shots, or even 3 of your last 3 shots, why are you taking them out the game? But I'm not the coach. Maybe Tibbs saw something. I don't know. But that's who we got. I'm sure Tibbs will adjust though.
I'm sure he will too, and
especially in the playoffs, right? Somebody's high in the playoffs. I don't think he's gonna pull them out.
He's not. These guys' minutes are going to increase in the playoffs. I mean, these guys are all going to play about 40 minutes a game in the playoffs. And it's just now you're at a point in the season where you want to get these guys rest. I think the substitutions were kind of wonky. I think tonight Cat played the entire second quarter, Bridges right, and I think Anunoby played the entire first quarter. And I don't know, I was thinking about it, Chris. I'm like, 8 games left. Do you really want these guys playing the entire quarters right now, this late in the season? And I understand it, but I don't know, just little things I look at. But because normally Mikal comes out with a 6-minute mark, but you're down so many guys. I think the Knicks were just, look, you're down Brunson, Deuce, Payne. Daddier was dressed on the bench. He didn't play, but you're starting DeLon Wright, so it's not going to be your normal rotations. Yeah. But, I mean, you saw Rick Brunson at the end of the game kind of like nudging Tom Thibodeau and saying, look, dude, I mean, I think the Knicks, they had a time. It was like 1 minute left. It was like 1:30 left. Blazers call timeout. Knicks are up 15. And the Knicks come out of that timeout. Okay, this is the complaining point of the postgame, by the way. All right, so Knicks come out of the timeout with their starters. And I'm like, you saw Rick Brunson, like, bro. Then you saw Tom Thibodeau put in the bench, and I think they got a foul. I'm like,
why? He was thinking about Tracy McGrady, Houston Tracy McGrady.
Yeah. Hey, that was crazy, by the way. Loud and Clear says Cat could be on that milk carton. I had Mikal on a Mel card, and he's answered. He's answered. I might get my guy David to make me another short about Cat, but nah, I'm not. Look, it's. Let's go down. Let me see. Let me look at something really quick. Cat tonight, 4-13, 10 points, 11 rebounds. Zoom out. It's honestly the game versus Milwaukee and tonight, Chris. The Clipper game, he had 34 and 14. Like, I know that was a bad game, but we lost, so it really doesn't matter. Dallas 26, Wizards 31, Hornets 25. I'm not worried about Cat, guys. I'm not. Like, I understand defensively is a problem, and in the playoffs, you're going to have to deal with that and hide him a little bit. Teams are still attacking him on the pick and roll, but offensively, I'm not worried about him. Like, his three is back. I believe he should be getting to the free throw line more. I mean, 2 free throw attempts in his last 2 games to me is just absurd.
Yeah, he does not get the whistle at all.
I just think refs are using his complaining against him because he complains so much that they don't know what's a foul and what's not a foul. I think that's really, but you look at the rebounds, 11, 10, 14, 12, 11. He's one of the best rebounders in the NBA, and the assists, 2, 4, 11. Had the triple-double versus the Mavericks. 2 blocks. I'm not really worried about Cat. Tonight was just off. El Figgy says should have cleared the bench at 1:30. Yeah.
I'm not worried about Cat either. I just think, I mean, look, imagine how much better his numbers would be if he got the calls he should be getting, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think I don't know if maybe the refs are, like you said. I hope not, because I don't think that's fair. They should know what a foul is. If you're a ref out there, and, you know, obviously the NBA has guidelines as to what they would call a foul or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, look, that's a tough job to do, but you'd hope that they're not going, oh, this guy complained so much, so, you know, I just saw him get punched in the face, but I'm going to let that slide right now.
That's what it seems like.
I can't, because I can't lie. Cat will get fouled on one side, then the other end, somebody gets barely scraped, and it's an and one, you know, whistle every time. I mean, that's what I've been noticing. And obviously that makes Cat even more frustrated. And I think it does have the potential to kind of like take him out of his game at times. So you'd like to see him stop complaining so much, and, you know, maybe not too many oh my gods out there on every drive. But I mean, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. But you just hope they give him a better whistle, because he does. He gets hit a lot.
Yeah. I saw a comment. What's going on, Pacers? Pacers stink. Love the name. Always love the name. Pacers stink. Say OG shouldn't come out of any game in the playoffs unless it's a 40-point lead. Damn, he wants to play OG 48 minutes. Nah, OG needs his rest.
No, honestly, I'll see OG Anunoby I could see him getting that in the playoffs.
Yeah. Tony says Cat needs to be sat down until the playoffs. He needs a break. He literally missed like 3 games this year. Yeah. I do think you're going to reach a point, final 5 games of the season, maybe final 2 games of the season, where I think it's beneficial for Thibs to, if he doesn't pull the plug on Cat, 15, 20 minutes. Like, I mean, if you're not playing for anything, you gotta get there, because any given, like, you could step on an ankle. You're like, I don't want that, man. I don't want that.
Cat's already banged up as it is too. It's no secret. Obviously, he's dealing with the finger. He's said it himself that he has other things going on. You know, I agree. You gotta maybe keep him in rhythm, like you said, 10, 15 minutes just to get out there, get some shots up, things like that. Yeah, and then that's it. You know, but I agree. Look, he's come out and said, hey, I didn't get rest during the All-Star break, this and that, and love the fact that he wants to go out there no matter what. And obviously with Jalen Brunson again down as of recent, it's nice to have Cat out there and available. But I think you definitely do a plan like that. That would be nice to get Cat nice and fresh for the playoffs.
All right, let me see if this plays through my screen. Give me a second. Josh Hart on OG Anunoby. All right, here we go.
You talk about defensively from OG, but offensively, and this is one of the best groups we've seen him in his career, really. Just what are you seeing from him offensively that's allowing him to have the month that he's having?
Just him being aggressive. And I'm not sure how many times you guys seen, even in transition or semi-transition, when he gets the ball kind of like a full head of steam. I feel like early in the season he'll kind of kick it out and get the ball moving, and then he realized that he was a 6'8", like 245-pound demon. So he started putting his head down and getting to the rim and getting layup, dunks, getting fouled. He put that little step through, gather step into his little mid-post package. Which helped him a little bit. But I mean, we love him being aggressive.
Oh man, Chris.
That step through gather.
Mike says my OG predictions coming full circle. What's going on, Mike? Shout out to Mike in the chat. OG Anunoby has realized he is a 6'8", 240-pound demon. Those are the words from Josh Hart. And I said it last 2 weeks ago. He is just playing at a whole different speed out there. You see it in the defender's eyes. He's coming straight out them. He's using his strength against them, and he's getting fouls, and no one can guard him. Honestly, I don't want to compare it, but it's sort of like, I know I'm not comparing it, but sort of like LeBron coming full steam. It's like that. Like OG's built like that. Like his build is crazy. So look, man. I'm excited.
And I think it'll get better. Obviously LeBron drives with a lot of force and more control. But I think that's what's coming. I mean, I'm not saying OG is going to become LeBron. Don't get it twisted.
Whoa. Wait, let's clip that. OG is going to come LeBron.
His game is going to get more polished where, maybe he'll go up with a little bit more finesse is what I'm saying.
Hot take. Hey, OG.
Oh, man.
He's going to become LeBron, man.
I got to be careful.
Nah, man. Say it. I mean, his honestly, like we're just so excited that we're honestly talking like reckless, but it's just. Yuri says, "I just hope this keeps up with Jalen back." What do you say to that, Chris?
Yeah, I honestly I agree. I agree because I think you found something right now. You've obviously discovered. Obviously, OG Anunoby has gone to another level. And you kind of hope when Jalen Brunson gets back out there that it's not, okay, Jalen's back, let's all stand in the corners and just not move, ISO, things like that. You hope it doesn't go back to things like that, Something I've complained about, right? Fourth quarter time, obviously, Jalen Brunson, one of the best clutch players in the game. But he doesn't have to do it all by himself, right? You got guys like Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby. I've always said this. Karl Anthony Towns, don't just park them in the corners and stuff. Get some actions going. And I think that's things that they can incorporate, obviously, going forward once Jalen Brunson comes back. I think that's part of the creativity part where I think the coaching staff needs to get going, which they've shown they can do. So I hope when Jalen Brunson comes back, we see more of what we're already seeing. And obviously when Jalen Brunson has to take over and be aggressive, we get that best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, because remember we were talking about it, Chris. Like this offense is too good to just be Jalen Brunson at the end of these games.
Right.
I know he's great. He's incredible. He's going to win Clutch Player of the Year if he comes back. But you saw JB, prime example, versus Memphis, kick it out to OG Anunoby. He hit the game-winning shot over there. Versus the Lakers when JB went out, offense was stagnant with Deuce running the show. Anunoby went full steam ahead, got an and one. And he missed a free throw, unfortunately, and that kind of lost us the game. But this offense is too talented at the end of the games when JB comes back to just be a one-man show. And early on in the season, Jalen Brunson's assists have been up this year. I do think they can kind of find the balance, and I do think it's a good thing that Jalen Brunson is just watching. Like I do think that's beneficial for Jalen Brunson to just sit back at the bench and just watch Anunoby go to work and watch Mikal do his thing. Because sometimes when you're playing, you don't really have the same sense of the basketball game when you're just sitting back and watching. So
true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I do think when Brunson comes back, I do think he's going to not deviate because you want him like a playoff Brunson is different, but I do think he's going to come back and navigate things differently than he was. So
I think so too. I mean, I think he's seeing the ball movement and all of that. He's seeing Tyler Kolek go out there and just, not even at times looking for his own shot for the majority, and just seeing how he's setting guys up, things like that. Knowing that he can do the same, right? So I think we'll get a mix of the two. And hopefully it clicks, hopefully it clicks well enough going into the playoffs, because look, I think that's a big reason why obviously Jalen Brunson wants to get out there too, right? For these next couple of games coming up.
mm-hmm.
He obviously wants to go out there, and they need to figure out how it all fits. So that's a big component of it.
It is. I'm trying to get the everyone's talking about the Pistons brawl in the chat. I'm trying to get the image that I had for Dante. Let me get it for you guys. Appreciate you guys in here. Once again, Chris hopping on for the post game. Knicks win 110-93. Yeah, Pistons and the Timberwolves had a crazy brawl, and this was Dante in the brawl.
Oh, man.
Yeah. There's a video out there if you guys want to see. You could check it out. I think everyone got literally there was so many players that got injected in that game. Wow. And it was just a whole big scene. But regardless, Pistons are about to lose. Somebody said in the chat, Cade's hurt. Let's get to some of these comments. Devo fought the whole Pacers team. Elfiggy says then they ejected 4 players and the coach. Crimes says Cade is hurt.
Why is it always the Pistons that get into these crazy brawls, man?
Look, man. Just give me the Bucks in the first round. Just give me the Bucks. Just give me the Bucks, please. Elfiggy says JB has been having to play hero ball too many times. I think he's studying and observing what we've been doing these last few weeks. He'll be passing more, especially if his ankle isn't right. Tony says, and I hope you read my last comment. I really want to hear your thoughts. Let me go back. Tony says Jalen Brunson can have 20 assists a night with the team. Kolek gets 7 assists in 10 minutes. A guy who hasn't played with that starting unit, and Brunson has all year. Explain that, and Chris in the chat. 2 different players, Tony. 2 different players. I'm not going to complain about Jalen Brunson shooting more because you want your best players to shoot more. And what he has done for us these last couple of years in the playoffs has been otherworldly. But at the same time, I get it. I do understand it. And that's why we saw this Knicks offense being such a dominant force early on in the season, because Brunson's assist numbers were up. But there just has to be a balance, because this Knicks team, that's why a lot of people crowned it best starting 5 of the NBA, best starting 5 all time. But at the same time, Jalen Brunson is great, Chris. So
yeah,
I get what people are saying because I understand it. But I mean, he's clutch too. So it's
yeah,
it just has to be a balance,
Yeah,
it's tough.
I get what you say. I get what you say about, obviously, look, you do want Jalen Brunson to have the ball, right? But like you said, they're 2 different players. Tyler Kolek right now is in a spot where he's more of a setup guy. He wants to set people up. Mm-hmm. He's not looking to score. And you saw that kind of, the last game where he was actually dishing a lot. There was times where he would have a wide open lane to the basket, and you would go, okay, he's going to take that. And he doesn't. So, he's going to learn how to be more aggressive. But I think when it comes to Jalen Brunson, like you mentioned, early on in the season, his assists were way up. The team was obviously rolling. I do feel like going down, especially towards the second half of the season, Jalen Brunson went away from that. And it was becoming the ISO Jalen Brunson show down the stretch. Mm-hmm. I think that's why when he comes back, seeing what he's seeing, I think those assist numbers will go back up. There'll be more ball movement. But, I just think Kolek is out there looking to get other guys. He's looking to facilitate.
Yeah.
He knows what he got out there. But as a rookie, is he really going to go out there and just take every shot he possibly can? I don't think he's earned that ability to have that trigger, in my opinion. Jalen Brunson, on the other hand, we all know what he's capable of. And again, he's one of the most clutch players, this year, and I think maybe even last year, down the stretch of games. You want the ball in his hands. I don't like the ISO Jalen Brunson thing because I feel like guys get cold, and then when you need them in a crunch, it's going to be that much harder for them to hit that shot. But at the same time, look, you do want the ball in Jalen Brunson's hand.
Yeah, and now I want the ball in OG Anunoby's hands. So it's
or Mikal.
Oh, yeah, you're going to have to find a balance, and it's year one, right? Yeah. And now Brunson is sitting back, watching, observing, learning. He's a learner, and it could be beneficial. We could go into the playoffs. Brunson, first game, 15 assists. Everyone's like, "Oh man, who's Knicks team? What Knicks team is this?" OG dominating, Mikal dominating, Brunson efficient, Cat efficient. That's the upside of this group. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but at the end of the day, like you said, they're two different players. Jalen Brunson, obviously, he's an offensive force, right? And look, and we saw this with Tyler Kolek in early on, preseason, in summer league, whatever you want to say. He was out there dishing the rock. He wasn't scoring much. He was just dishing. He's just that's his game.
Yeah.
He's like a Steve Nash type, right? He'll set the guys up. He'll run around the court just looking for the assists. And I'm sure, he'll score the basket here and there once he gets to that point. So two different players in my opinion, but that's what I got.
Hope that answered it, Tony, but I understand it. So yeah, updated standings. Knicks are entrenched in the 3rd seed. Believe that's where they're going to finish. Indiana lost tonight. No, I didn't lose tonight, but I don't know if they played tonight, but they lost. The Bucks lost tonight. They got smacked by the Hawks.
Crazy.
So now the Hawks are all of a sudden 4 games back in the loss column of the Bucks with 8 remaining. So I don't think that's possible. That would have to be an epic collapse.
That would, yeah. I mean, considering though they lost that, they put 124 points up though. So I don't know. That sounds like a game where the Hawks just shot lights out from 3 or something, in my opinion.
Yeah. So going to the Bucks, like if they go 4-4, they got Phoenix, they got tanking Philadelphia, who they claimed, by the way, the best big 3 in the NBA. The best big 3 in the NBA before the season. They're going to be better than the Knicks.
Ranked ahead of, I was just going to say, ranked ahead of the Knicks.
The Philadelphia tanking Sixers. And now they're tanking to keep their pick. So, but they're all in hiding. They give hot takes and then they go hide.
Hey, remember, we were supposed to trade for Joel Embiid, right?
Yeah.
I think we got lucky there.
Oh man.
Look, I know Embiid when healthy, Embiid is a monster, but that's the problem, right? Not healthy.
That would have been catastrophic. Whew.
Yeah.
So let's say, okay, they got to go 4-4. Philly, Miami, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think the Hawks are going to catch them, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Hawks are 4 games back. I don't know if they own the tiebreaker. I don't know what the tiebreaker looks like. So, but Pistons are about to lose, so that furthers their odds in finishing 4 or 5. Bucks lost, so that furthers their odds of finishing number 6. Knicks won, that furthers their odds of finishing number 3, and they will finish number 3. So when it's all said and done, Chris, I think it's Knicks Bucks first round. A lot can change from now until next week, obviously. But Pistons are now they're probably going to be dealing with some suspensions. And Cade, I don't know the situation with Cade. But, yeah. A lot of Chris says the New York Knicks are in the playoffs. Everyone like the chat, subscribe to the channel. If you ain't already, let's go. Appreciate you loud and clear. Thanks for the support. Thanks for giving us your time, by the way. But yeah, Chris, so what is shaping out to be? Knicks Bucks.
I like that. I mean, I like that matchup. I'm not gonna say I want that matchup because I'm a little superstitious. Sometimes be careful what you ask for. But if the chips fall like that, I wouldn't be mad about that matchup at all.
Yeah, Knicks in 4 or 5. Yeah, Detroit has at OKC, at Toronto, probably win that. Memphis, Sacramento, New York. It could come down to the last 2 games of the season, man.
Wow.
Versus Milwaukee.
Got a back-to-back?
Yeah.
Wait. Wow.
Milwaukee and Milwaukee.
That's insane. What's the odds that was going to be the last 2 games?
Yeah. So there's essentially 6 games left in terms of what record they have to go. But if the Bucks are 2.5 games behind Detroit, last 2 games, it doesn't matter. Everything will be locked up. But that could be the determining factor about who we play. And look, Pistons are a bunch of crazy MFers. Bunch of crazy MFers over there in Detroit. So,
man,
give me the Bucks. Watch the Sixers get Cooper flagged. They get so lucky with the number 1 picks.
That'd be crazy.
Cooper flag to the Knicks. We win the lottery pick. This just in, Joel Embiid is retiring. Here's a funny question I asked in Ant's Discord. If we actually draft Cooper flag, you think Tibbs will play him?
He said,
of course. He'll play him. Of course. Cooper flag's that talented.
He has to earn it, man.
He probably won't. He's not going to start on this team. Well, actually, yeah, I think he would. If the Knicks had Cooper flag, would you start him over Josh Hart? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I would. Honestly, I think I would. Man.
Yeah.
Let me not even think about that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Tendrell says, yeah, that's insane. 2 versus the Bucks. That could be the 2 games right there. So as it stands, did it update yet? Did the Pistons lose? I'm trying to get a good grasp of these standings. Appreciate you guys in here. Just winding down. So yeah. The Bucks are a game and a half behind the Detroit Pistons. Still a lot of games left. So it's the Detroit Pistons, the Bucks, or if the Pacers fall off the face of the earth. Or if the Atlanta Hawks start to win, they've won 8 straight and the Bucks go 4, or like the Bucks collapse, then it could be the Hawks.
Hey, can you imagine that? Hawks, Knicks.
Yeah. I don't know. But, yeah, appreciate you guys in the chat once again. Thank you for the support. As always, Knicks beat the Blazers. Only 8 more of these games. And let's go. Captain coming back. Hopefully get the guys healthy. And we just go from there, Chris. Anything else you wanted to say?
Let's go, Knicks. Playoffs right around the corner, and we're trending up.
Trending upwards. Thank you again for the support. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Hop into Discord. Chris and I in there. At Instagram, at Knicks Nation on Instagram, at Knicks Nation on X. Really appreciate the support. I'll catch you guys next time. As always, let's go Knicks. Peace.
Let's go Knicks. Peace.